Welcome, my beautiful people, to this week in review. I'm going to get right into it, and I'm going to answer the question of the week. The question of the week comes from Diana643. Diana states or asks, Fernando, what's the best way to promote my Airbnb? I have one property, and it's in Finlandia, Colombia, which is funny because I'm actually in Colombia. You're going to be seeing some videos from some of the properties that we were commissioned to optimize. In specific, I did a video with an owner who I think is doing a phenomenal job. He just needs to understand more or get better at marketing outside of Colombia. He does a phenomenal job in Colombia, but we got to advertise outside. And it looks like Diana has the same problem. She wants to advertise and attract more U.S. customers or U.S. guests, right? So, Diana, the first thing I suggest is, if you're not doing it already, is that you need to get on all or as many OTAs as you possibly can. But by doing that, you need to understand that you need to have a channel manager or a PMS system that has a channel manager in it, because once you start advertising on multiple platforms, it becomes very difficult to manage the bookings when you don't have a channel manager. And here's what you need to understand is a lot of people got into this game. And I don't know if this is you, but a lot of people got into this game because of Airbnb, and then they only advertise on Airbnb. But did you know that the number one OTA for Colombia is Booking.com? It's not Airbnb. So being on multi-platforms is one way to market your property and get exposure. And on Airbnb, you are going to get a big or your clientele is probably going to come from the U.S. Man, it started to rain. I like it. I love it. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm in, like I mentioned, I'm in Colombia. I'm actually I'm in a beautiful town called Salanto. I'm in the mountains. It's really, really pretty. But anyways, getting back to answering the question. So you need to advertise on the different OTAs, right? That's one way. Then the next one that I'm going to highly recommend is, especially if you only have one property, is that you start an aggressive social media marketing campaign. If you don't know how to run social media, or you don't know anything about social media, then I highly recommend you hire a social media manager. But more specifically, hire a videographer. I mean, you're in Colombia. There's a lot of great ones, and you're not too far from Medellin. There's a lot of great people in Medellin. If you don't know of any, then reach out to me, and I'll connect you with the right people that'll help you run or use social media so you can advertise your property. Number one, social media is free, right? And then number two, it may take you a little bit to grow your following, man. But if you do it right, man, I can tell you we get a lot. And I do mean a lot of business from social media. So it's a big one that I recommend. And again, this, as I mentioned in the beginning, being on multiple OTAs. So hope that helped. And just so you know, I did a video on digital marketing. Look it up. That'll give you some more help regarding promoting your business. So, okay, moving on. Let's go into revenue for this past week. We made $57,510.62 in rental revenue. We also made $11,462.67 with other fees. And I'm going to add some more of the markers because the platform now gives me some more markers that I want to share with you. So, for example, we had 309 bookings last week. Our occupancy rate is at 73.2%. And as you know, I want to be, I actually want to be between 75 and 85% occupancy rate. So we're just below that and this is just for this week, but we're at 73.2. Our average daily rate is 186, and then the RevPAR is 136. Now, for those, because I had a couple of people asked me last time, what's the difference between average daily rate and RevPAR? So the average daily rate is the report for the reporting period represents the average daily revenue booked that a property has earned. RevPAR, on the other hand, is a representative revenue you would get if your properties were booked at 100%. So I need you to understand that you have a property, if it's booked at 100% of the time, then it's $136. We are at 73% occupancy rate, and our average daily rate is 186. So it's based on, uses what your occupancy rate is with what your revenue is to give you that number. Okay, so moving on. On Airbnb for this week, we made 29,000. On our booking website, we made 15,000. On booking.com, we made 5.5 thousand. On Verbo, we made 3.75 thousand. Other, we made 3.9 thousand. So that's our revenue. And then as it relates to RevPAR per property, our top revenues right now, our top properties are Miami Luxury coming in at 355, Pompano coming in at 309, Oakland Palm coming in at 291, Seahorse 2 is coming in at 268, and then all others are at 125. Okay. Project progress. Okay, finally, our Miami property is done. It is up and running. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw it. We posted it. So I need you guys to help me out and give that property some love. Go ahead and book it. DM me because I'm going to give you some great special rates. So that property it's a 1-bedroom, 1-bath cottage in South Miami. It's in a beautiful neighborhood. It's a great location. We're going to, for the first 10 guests, we're going to really give you more than 50% off because we really want people to book it. I'm not doing it on Airbnb though. If you book it on Airbnb, you're paying what our full rate is. But if you DM me and book on our website, you're going to get 50% off for staying on that property. So that's finally up. In terms of our Georgia property, that property is all the pruning has been done. We're already starting to see some of the leaves come out on our grapevines. All the reno, the decor, the furniture, everything's done on the main house. We're still working on the tiny homes. And then right now we're just waiting, or we're trying to figure out what we're going to do in terms of, I originally wanted to pave the property because the property is not paved at all. So it's all grass. And I wanted to pave the road and some common areas like to one of the barns, to where the tiny homes is going to be, and to the main house. But I may not do that right away. I'm actually leaning more towards using gravel to do it. And the main reason I want to do that is because I'm not exactly sure. I'm not exactly sure if I'm going to, what kind of path I want to have and what I want to do. So I don't want to do something permanent or pay something like paving it now. So I'd rather just throw gravel for now, so I can get an idea if that's the route that I want to have for the property. So that takes care of that. The last thing I want to talk about is what we did this week here in Colombia. We visited 2 short-term rentals. One is beautiful. I really love it. It's more of a glamping style Airbnb, and then the other one is more of a traditional Colombian house in which the owner really turned it into like a bed and breakfast because he rents out the rooms there. And he's the one that I did the interview with. So you're going to be watching that interview coming up probably in 2 weeks. I'll finish editing that video and putting it up. And you'll get to see and learn more about the property that he owns, how unique it is, the wonderful horseback riding tour that he does. It is phenomenal, something that I really, really enjoyed. And I hope you enjoy it as well if you ever get a chance to book book his property and or his tour, because you don't have to stay in his Airbnb to book the horseback tour. Next is, there's nothing new to report in regards to our staffing, still the same, no issues there. No problems this week except for the following. Okay, so I forgot to mention this last week. It is tax season, as most of you already know, and for me as a owner of a short-term rental company, I have to invoice or 1099 a lot of people, right? So that can become a big headache, and for me, it has been a headache for the last couple of years, and mainly because of, and I'll admit it, mainly because of me not being as organized as I should be, right? So if you are a business owner, you don't have to be a short-term rental operator. If you're a business owner, keep very good records on your vendors, because I highly recommend that you 1099 your vendors. So like for us, if you're a vendor, if you're going to be a vendor for us, you have to give me a W-9 so that I can issue a 1099. But that's where I say that I have been a little bit unorganized, because I have to receive that and then I have to send that to my bookkeeper. And oftentimes I get those W-9s and they sit on my desk, and then when I come around to it, I'll send it to my bookkeeper, but my bookkeeper has to match what the business name is to what I recorded it on my books, so, and how I paid people. So for example, oftentimes I'll get a W-9 with the business name, but I may pay the business owner by his name. I may Zelle him. Oftentimes, if it's a temporary vendor, then I may just Venmo him or Zelle him or her, but I do it by their name, and this is where it gets screwed up, because I don't tie it into the W-9. So at the end of the year, I have to spend spend hours with my bookkeeper, and I apologize. I always tell my bookkeeper I'm sorry, because I know I'm a little bit unorganized. But that's something that you as a business owner needs to stay on top of. That's something that we are working on. Next year should not be an issue, because I actually hired a person to organize that stuff for me. And as soon as I get a new vendor, we get the W-9, I just send it to her, and then she starts creating our Excel spreadsheet with our vendors, matching the payment with the W-9. Very important. Okay. Lastly, I want to talk about our sponsor, Dream Vacations. It's, as I mentioned last week, we're doing. I'm trying to get their social media up and running. So if you can do me a favor, go to Dream Vacations on Instagram, or Dream Vacation by FD on Instagram. Let me say that again: Dream Vacation by FD on Instagram, and just subscribe or follow me on there. I'm trying to grow that channel, but we have some phenomenal deals. I'm not going to take some time on this video. In the last video, I made it super long. I'm not going to make this one super long, but someone that loves to travel, I highly recommend that you team up with a travel agency. Whether it's us or any other travel company, get somebody that you trust and that has experience in traveling to the areas that you want to go to, and use them. I can't tell you how much money you're going to save by using them, but you're going to save time. You're going to save, have less stress, and you're going to save money. Those are three big things that will help you when you work with the travel agency or travel advisor. For me, they're the same, right? Or travel advisor, because they're going to be able to cater to you. They're going to give you specific travel plans that are designed for you, for your wants, your needs, your likes. So that's my pitch for that. If you have any questions, any comments, list them below. I love you guys, and I'll see you in the next one.